catching up with a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long, long time. And as you can notice, it's pretty much from an era here in the mid-2000s, right when the transition from dirt went to dirt motorsports, right after Glenn Donnelly. And one of those people who was very, very influential in the area in 2006 and 2007 is Tonya Moshell. She did just about everything in this area right here. She came from the world of outlaw late models. After that, she stayed in racing right up until about 2007. Decided to make a little bit of change in her life and do some other things. She's actually doing some nursing, which is really just wonderful work. So we're going to have some fun with this one and tell you a story that I've referenced before about me getting fired. So let's head out to Rapid City, South Dakota, where they're recovering for some serious snow. Tonya Moshell with us right now. This picture, by the way, is from '06 at the Parts Peddler Show. How you doing?
I am great. How are you, Doug?
Doing very, very well. Things have changed a lot for you. No more racing, huh?
Only as a spectator, just for fun now. So.
Why did you get out? Just out of curiosity.
Basically, things were changing. I was at Volusia at the time, and things were changing. They were kind of steering away from weekly racing and that sort of thing. And it was a good time in my life. I had always wanted to be a nurse, and I decided to steer myself towards something a little more meaningful. Not that racing's not meaningful, but at any rate, I decided it was time to make the change and started nursing school, and that's where I've been ever since.
Very nice. And before we met you, you did work in racing with a series that you did a lot of traveling, didn't you?
I traveled with the World of Outlaws late models and helped them with promoting some of their events and being on the ground at the locations and things like that. So that was super fun.
Yeah, I would imagine. How'd you end up coming to Central New York?
The company told me to go.
Oh, just that simple. Okay, you're going to New York. Okay.
For lack of a better explanation, kind of needed to change some things up. They were, taking over at the time, and that was that whole boundless dirt motorsport crossover thing that was going on, and acquiring the World of Outlaws late models, or acquiring the World of Outlaws sprints, and starting the World of Outlaws late models, and then picking up everything behind Glenn Donnelly, and I ended up going to New York.
What was your initial impression of New York?
I will never do a winter in New York again. I'll guarantee you that. But other than that, I think the thing that impressed me the most, and, this is a testament to Glenn Donnelly, the facilities were pristine, and the racing was at a level that, I had not really been attuned to in the Midwest. And I learned a lot from so many people while I was up there. I still tell stories about men like John White and some of these other individuals that I came into contact with up there. So
it's a lot more than what you expected from New York State. Let's put it that way, right?
Definitely was. So, but all good.
Yeah.
And really, the series was very strong, and the caliber of the team owners and the drivers and that type of thing it's a step above. Definitely a step above.
I talked to Jack Deary. He talked about how impressed he was with the big block modifieds. Yeah, so it was a nice situation. Now, here's the one, this is the part I'm really looking forward to, okay? Because the first time Tanya and I met, I don't think we actually met, but we were in the same place, and they were not having a good night at Rolling Wheels. And Tanya was the one who actually fired me a few months later from Dirt. And I'll go ahead and say this before I let her talk. It was for good reason. Tanya, let's describe that first time we met. your words.
Well, like you said, it probably wasn't the best night at Rolling Wheels, and you were less than positive, and you were supposed to be on my team.
I was telling anybody and everybody would listen.
I realize it's hard to keep things positive when we're having a hard time, but somehow we have to put a good face forward, and no, it ended up not working out well for you, and I let you go, and then gosh, less than a year later, we were back conversing again and doing that sort of thing. So everything kind of comes full circle. But lessons in putting your best face forward even when things are ugly, so to speak.
Yeah, and I didn't do that. I was, I think, a little bit frustrated at that point. And really, I was like you. in 2011, I needed a change. And that's when I got Doug's Dirt Diary going. So had Tanya not fired me, that whole change wouldn't have happened. And then I think somewhere along the way, we were in the same place and you saw what I was doing and we just got talking. And the next thing you know, you and I were taking the pace car to races all over the place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So bygones can be bygones, and we all learn. We learn and we grow.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. So don't hold a grudge, guys. Listen to Tanya and myself, because we actually ended up becoming pretty good friends after that. And the one thing I always liked about going to the races with Tanya, when she was driving that pace car, she drove that thing. Burnouts in the middle of small town. Oh, you do drive, so it wasn't just the pace car.
No, I still drive like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there was some Mustang went by us, and I was driving, and Tanya gave me this look like, you're not letting that car go by us, are you?
Not allow that.
Down
not
in Binghamton.
allow that.
So so after this, did you go right to Volusia or did you go someplace else after Central New York?
Okay, so from New York, I went to Macon, Illinois, worked for Bob Sargent, who is still recognized as one of the top dirt racing promoters in the country. He had the track at Macon, which I remember the first time I went there, I told him it was cute.
Oh, really? Cute.
And laughed at me. It's a 6-mile bull ring.
Oh, little tiny thing.
And they run super late on it.
Really?
So if you can imagine F-16s in a bowl,
yeah,
that's Macon Speedway.
Wow, must have been fun.
But at any rate, super fun. Outstanding promoter. I called it my Bob Sargent boot camp days, because he's a very driven man and he's a very successful man, and there's a lot to learn from him. So it was great. And he was involved with some ARCA events and things like that. So I got to learn about several different series and things that were going on in racing at that time. And then I got the call in November of 2008, I believe it was. And they said, would you like to come back, to World Racing Group and come to Volusia? Well, it's November in Illinois. And I said, gee, this is rough.
Yeah, Florida in November, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. And I had always really kind of wanted to be in Central Florida and be around the Daytona area and that sort of thing. So it was a wonderful opportunity to go to Volusia. I'd been involved with the Dirt Car Nationals a couple times before in February, so I knew that event. I, again, came into an environment that was very unique. They have a very different culture when it comes to dirt car racing there. And so there was a lot to learn there as well. And I think that's the biggest thing about all my experiences is everywhere I went, there are different cultures associated with their racing, and learning those and learning what goes on with them is part of the experience.
Under 2 minutes left. So when you went to Macon Speedway in Illinois, you actually left World Racing Group at that point?
I did.
I didn't realize that.
I left World Racing Group. Yes.
What was the main reason, if you don't mind me asking?
I wanted to learn from Bob Sargent.
That was it. Okay. Yeah, but you have to be selfish in this game.
I had an opportunity to work with that man, and I really wanted to learn from him. So that was my entire goal.
Well, I think all of us that work in racing, we have to be selfish at times. If there's an opportunity that will better you, and from a race car driver to somebody who runs a series or anything, you do kind of have to jump on that, don't you, Tanya?
Absolutely. That was my mindset on it, and I believe that 100%. So.
Okay. So away from racing, everybody's happy and healthy and all that stuff. You're doing well yourself. You're happy?
All is great in my life. They can stop bringing snow to South Dakota. I'll be really happy with that. We just went through Snowmageddon, my goodness. But we're coming out the other side, so it'll be okay. But no, all is well here. Kind of excited for some big events coming up in South Dakota, too. I'll just plug those real quick. Houston Speedway outside of Sioux Falls. Folks, you can Google this guy.
Yeah, they've been with World of Outlaws for a while.
Couple huge events for sprint cars and late models next summer. A $250,000 event for sprint cars, which is really, really big. And doing some things with that. So I will put a little plug out there for them because I think they're going to have a huge summer.
And we're going to have to leave it there, Tanya. Again, guys, hit the Blue E, hit the likes. You got somebody you want me to talk to from the past, make sure to let me know, and I will get to them. Great talking with you, Tanya. Thank you.